Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all.
It's already derailing.
Hello, forensic friends.
I need something real.
I know. Nat and I are laughing because one of my big tote bags that she's obsessed with, it's too big for me. It's like it hurts my back. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna donate it to Natalie.
Donations to.
It's half of you. It is half of you. You could
But I
fit
love
in it.
that.
No, I know, but
I
it'll
love
hold
big.
all your stuff, your baby stuff, all your things.
Oh, I could use that.
I'm like now I'm getting into the stage of having to maybe not carry quite as much as I've carried for the last 10 years. So I have to like
There's a point where that
trim it
happens.
down a little. There's a point where that happens. Dude, I'm telling you, like also Bear rings a bell to go out. I told you this. Did I tell you this?
Stop it.
I
No.
put it on the door. So his sister, Becca has his sister,
Yeah.
and they said we put a bell on the door and he did it the first time, or she did it. Their dog did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't think Bear's more dumb than his sister. So I put up a bell. First time, bing, went out, went to the bathroom. He rings the bell to go outside. I kid you not.
Wow.
He's amazing. Honey has no idea what's happening ever.
Poor honey.
Honey's like, she just gets a treat coming in now. So she's starting to love him.
She's just pretty.
She's so pretty and she's so sweet.
Yeah. She's got the good heart.
She has a wonderful heart of gold.
I know. She's so funny.
Bear's a stinker, but he's smart and wants to be a good boy most of the time. So that's great.
And he's so cute. Yeah.
Back and forth. We need to schedule our retreat. We also need to schedule our workshop, our couples workshop that is coming.
I know, guys, we have a workshop coming.
We were going to try to do it before Valentine's Day. It looks like it's going to be after Valentine's Day.
Dang it.
Realistically, I'm thinking number of days.
Probably. I know, I panicked because it's been a little over a year since I bought that, but they don't expire.
Oh, they don't care. No.
It's great.
No, we're on like 8 different clocks all the time with credentials and all the things. We got to do a
oh my gosh
for this and
I totally
for that.
I thought about the eval I have to get done. I'm gonna get it done this weekend and give it to you.
Yeah, Nat and I have. I mean, how many things we have just in the next 4 or 5 months? I mean, we're speaking at one thing, possibly 2 things, maybe something in the fall. I have something in August. I mean, we've like it's stacked with
so many things.
Fun thing. Like we get to go be with our people and train and do the things we love.
Yeah. Exciting.
It is exciting.
Well, the case I have for us today, it's actually kind of blowing up because all these documentaries are showing up on platforms. So there's one on Prime. There's one on Netflix. I'm sure there's a lot more.
I never know what platform we're talking about. So Garrett, correct.
Never. Oh my gosh. Janine, I asked her the other day, what case were you doing?
I did the Harlan Coben.
Yes.
In fairness to me,
it was on Paramount Plus.
Well, his what is it? Final Twist is on Paramount Plus. You're right. But all of his like movies and limited series, those are on Netflix.
Okay.
There might be other places too, but no, the show I'm talking about, Paramount Plus. Well, you
texted
be in the shower, and I never know what I'm logged into. I'm just watching stuff.
I know. I texted Janine the other night because I was looking for the show she was referring to in the case she did, and I was like, Janine, it is not on Netflix. You told literally all of our listeners it's on Netflix.
They should know by now. You got to Google it.
Yeah, Google it.
Isn't it Armchair Expert that they have the fact check at the end? Monica does like a fact check. Nobody's got time for that over here, but we kind of need it.
Well, Garrett does it, but he does it as we go.
Yeah, totally.
Which is great.
People love when he does that too. So Garrett will fix it. Don't worry.
It's so funny. Anyway.
Garrett, 2 a.m.
Not that.
Get it together.
Oh my gosh. So the case I'm doing today is Miss Elizabeth Smart.
Yes.
She's a legend.
She's an incredible human being.
she is an incredible human being. So on June 5th, 2002, Salt Lake City, Utah, a 14-year-old girl was abducted from her bed. Her younger sister, who was 9 years old at the time, was sleeping literally right next to her. They shared a bed.
Ugh. And it woke the 9-year-old up too, right?
Yes, yes, but she was like frozen naturally.
Of course.
I mean, I would be frozen, you know. So Elizabeth Smart, again, she was 14, abducted by a masked man. He had her at knife point and threatened her that if she didn't go with him, he would kill her family, including her. So she got up and left with him, like just kind of like I think went into survival mode if I have to
Of
picture it.
course. Of course.
When he woke her up, he said, "I have a knife at your neck. Do not make a sound and get up and come with me."
That's everybody's worst nightmare.
Literally. Can you imagine?
No.
So let's back up. In February 2002, it's a big season for Salt Lake because one, they were having the Winter Olympics there that year.
Yeah.
So already kind of mass chaos, really exciting, but just chaotic. And then also for the family, they were going through some of their own stuff. Elizabeth's maternal grandfather was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Mm.
He went in for surgery and then passed away 2 months later. His funeral was on June 4th, 2002, which happened to be the day before Elizabeth was taken. It was the end of the school year, and Elizabeth was asked to play her harp at a school event that night. It was all chaotic for the family. She has quite a few siblings too. I think she has like three brothers and a sister. Anyway,
Yeah. Big family.
big family. And so mom, whose name is Lois, was cooking dinner and she burnt the potatoes. I don't know if you've ever burnt food, but it's terrible.
Yes. I have burned lots of food in my day.
Lots of food. Yes, no, same. And it like smokes out the house. It smells so bad. So she ended up opening a window in the kitchen
Oh no.
because she had burnt the potatoes. So usually you know me, I wouldn't be like she burnt the potatoes and then like
That's why I started chuckling because I'm like, where's this going?
why are we talking about potatoes? No,
Yes.
because she opened the window to air out the kitchen.
Did he You're gonna get into this, but I'm thinking to myself, like, did he just check the house every day to wait for a window to be opened, or he just
I'm,
happened to go? You're getting there.
I'm gonna get
I'm
there.
with you.
I'm gonna get there.
I know.
So they went to the school event and came home just like normal. And then Elizabeth and her sister got ready for bed, did their nightly routine, which is really sweet. They like pray together, and then Elizabeth would read to her before
Oh,
bed. I know. And they were reading Ella Enchanted. I know.
oh,
They said that Elizabeth was reading for so long that night that her voice got hoarse. I know. So
this
sweet.
is such a special person.
Yeah. Very, very sweet. Very sweet family. Then, as I mentioned before, she was awoken in the middle of the night. She heard a voice and thought it was a dream at first. She opened her eyes and saw a man standing there. And it was the second time she had seen him and also heard this voice. She didn't know who it was, though, because he was masked at that time.
But
Well,
she,
kind of. He was kind of masked. It didn't cover his full face because I'll get into that later.
okay, but she didn't know that she'd seen him before in that moment.
Not in that moment. Yeah.
Okay.
But she knew she had heard the voice before.
Okay.
hmm hmm So her sister heard everything happen, but again was paralyzed with fear. She heard them go into the hallway, and she even talks about, she says, there were so many creaks in the house. And so she's like, you could kind of tell where they were based on like the creaking. So she said she heard them leaving. And then he told Elizabeth that if she screamed or yelled, he would kill her and the rest of her family. She was hoping and praying that her parents would just wake up or hear something, hear them walking. Her sister was in bed for a long time. The first time she got up to try to go tell her parents, she freaked out and jumped back into her bed. But then she got up again and went into the room and told her parents what happened. going to Elizabeth and this man now. As they made their way outside, there was a car passing, and literally the kidnapper prayed, "If this work is true, God, then let this car pass."
He's got a lot of nerve praying in that position.
This made no sense to Elizabeth as he was praying while also kidnapping her. She's like, "What in the actual heck?" She probably
Mm-mm.
didn't say that, but she said, "I was very confused because he was praying to God while also kidnapping me."
Mm.
He also threatened her many, many times as he was trying to get her out. Ironically, the car that passed was a police officer. He then started running with her, like booking it, sprinting to get away from any street.
Well, I mean, you got to think like they're on the razor wire between her being saved and him going to
Yes.
prison for
For
a really long
mhm,
time, you know?
mhm. At one point, she stops and says to him, "If you're going to rape and kill me, please just do it here." Because in her mind, she wanted her family to find her body. So she was like, if this is all you're gonna do with me, then do it now. And like, let's just end this, you know?
Hmm.
He replied back, "I am not going to rape and murder you yet." Yeah, no psycho. He's crazy. He's crazy. Mary Catherine, which is Elizabeth's sister, I have not mentioned her name yet, went to her parents' room and said, "Someone's taken Elizabeth." They looked all around the house. Her dad went to wake up all the brothers to try to get everyone in on this. I have a question for you here in a minute. It's coming because your brain is going to shift into something. I know it.
Mm.
Mary Catherine then, so they're like looking everywhere. And then Mary Catherine is like, "You are not going to find her. Someone took her."
How long after, well, probably they don't know because the 9-year-old's not looking at a clock, but I wonder how long after she went to
Yeah.
get the parents, you know?
Yeah. I was wondering that too. I don't think, because it reminded me of the Moscow murders.
Hmm.
I don't think it obviously wasn't as long as the roommate waited.
No, and it would have felt like an eternity.
Hmm.
Anyway, five
Even if it
minutes
was
would
like
have felt
5
like
minutes.
forever. Yeah.
Exactly. So her mother went to go turn on all the lights. There's like a panel of lights she talked about. So she was like, I went to go like literally hit the panel of lights. And she said she looked over and saw that she had left the window open the previous day or evening when she was cooking, and the screen had been cut out.
This poor woman
Hmm.
lost her father, buried him the day before, and wakes up to this,
Yeah.
right? Or I guess the next day, but still.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And the fact that she had opened the window.
that's the worst thing.
I
Oh,
know. So let's pause for a moment.
mm-hmm.
As we're talking right now, wrote down, I literally cannot imagine this pain.
No, no,
I can't even like
no.
fathom what this family was going through.
Mm-mm.
You and I cover kid stories, and you mentioned this a few weeks ago. We very rarely cover kid stories
Hmm.
because I just can't. It like makes my skin crawl.
I couldn't even do therapy with kids in grad school. It was too upsetting. I was like, put the parents in here so we can have a conversation.
Right. I know. You and I are like, let's get to the source.
Yeah, it's really hard with kiddos. I can't imagine this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't even explain what I would feel like if this happened. The brothers and so when all this happens, okay, they immediately, as they like cannot find her, Mary Catherine is saying, "You will not find her. She is not here. Someone literally took her. I did not dream this up." And they checked all the with the boys, they wanted to make sure, like, "Hey, did you go into her room? Are you guys playing games? Like,
Was it a
what's
joke? Was it a,
yeah,
yeah.
like what is happening?" Nothing. After they can't find her, they do what most people would do, call all their family and close friends, right?
Mhm.
Just like say, "Hey, this is what's going on. I don't even know." Because at this point, no one's heard anything. But
Mhm.
they called close friends and family. Everyone comes over.
No.
Everyone comes
Did they
over to
call
the house.
911 first before the friends and family?
They did. They did call 911 first.
Okay.
One of the things that was said in one of the documentaries was how graveyard shifts are a lot of the new young cops.
Mm.
So they don't always think of, hey, you can't have people in your house. You literally cannot invite people inside your house. You will contaminate the crime scene. So, regardless of them calling the police first or not, the crime scene was contaminated.
Ugh.
I know. Elizabeth's brothers and her uncle said when he entered the home that he had never heard his sister-in-law cry and make the sounds that she was making. And her boy said that too. Like it was they were saying it was like agonizing and just a type of scream cry that they didn't think a human could make. So just terrified. This family was
The mom.
horrified.
It's
Hmm.
a mom.
Hmm. Oh
I
yeah.
was explaining to
I
Garrett,
would
I
die.
remember my mom, there she'll kill me for sharing this, but it's hilarious. So my mom would be like in her jammies at night or whatever, which is mortifying to my brother. Like he'd be so mortified, you know? And
Hmm.
it's like what people don't understand, boys in particular, I think, and men don't necessarily understand is like they were in our bodies. Like they're a part of
Right.
us.
Literally.
They're a part of us. And so that
Yep.
doesn't mean we love them more than you do or whatever. It's just different though.
It's different.
It's why you wake up out of a dead sleep when you hear
Mhm.
a rustle in the crib. It's just like a
Yep.
weird thing, you know?
Yep. Yep. Well, and yeah, I mean, I can't remember exactly what it was. I'll have to find the thing that I read that talked about it, but there's like part of there's something that's
Their
in our,
cells stay in us.
yes, that's it.
And they fight infection. They fight. They're
Yes.
like our first line of defense cells are their cells
Yeah.
that stay with us. Yeah.
Which is wild.
No, it's really cool actually.
So yeah, it's just, when
But being
again,
separated would be the most horrific pain I can imagine
ever, ever.
ever.
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Southeast Counseling Center. Southeast Counseling Center is a 501c3 nonprofit mental health provider right here in Parker, Colorado, conveniently located just off major highways. We serve the whole family, from play therapy for kids to couples and family therapy, trauma treatment, psychological testing, and specialized groups. Access matters. That's why Southeast Counseling Center accepts Medicaid, TriWest, and victim compensation, and also offers a community subsidy program to help people who fall in the gap between Medicaid and traditional insurance coverage. And because we're a nonprofit, every dollar donated by the community goes directly towards providing treatment services for people who need help. Prefer to meet at home? Telehealth is available statewide so anyone in Colorado can access our services. To get started, call 720-842-5553 or fill out our secure web inquiry form at secounseling.org. Southeast Counseling Center, care that is accessible, compassionate, and rooted in the community. So because of all of those people in the house, right, as I said, this crime scene was totally contaminated. Mom is not in an okay space.
Mm-mm.
No one is.
No.
And it was a busy scene.
But I also never knew she'd buried her father like
Hmm.
a day or two before and had lost him quickly. I
Right.
I didn't
Yep.
know that. I'm like, "Oh my God,
Yep.
like all you want is your people and you
Yep.
just say goodbye to one of your people."
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
I know. The cops finally cleared the crime scene, which, good job, but also too late. And made everyone get out of the house. What's wild is one of the uncles was saying how when he was in the house, he was like, I was walking around and you just like are in such disbelief. And he said, and I almost put my hands on the counter right where that window was. And he's like, and I remember thinking like, oh, don't touch anything because my prints are gonna get everywhere.
mm,
And I was like, oh my goodness. Like what a surreal event for all of them.
Mm.
What else does this remind you of?
Oh, John Benet Ramsey.
Absolutely, which is
100%.
interesting because, again, different, very different outcome, similar kind of concept at the beginning. I think, someone took
Mhm.
her out of her bed.
Well, and even the length of time to clear the house, if you call
Yeah.
911, but a couple people get over, and it sounds like there were people really close by, which is not uncommon, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. And another similarity to her case was the open window, right? Getting in through a window. And then also there was a chair, I believe, on the outside of the house for this individual to step on, which there's more to that. I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Any thoughts so far?
No, I'm thinking, I can imagine a 9-year-old because Mac's 10. They're not the most reliable in the middle of the night. Like they come in and tell you all kinds of stuff. So I can imagine the parents are like, it's like
Yeah.
when there's a shooting and people think it's fireworks. Like they almost always think that even if it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because our brain wants to go to like the least scary thing.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, I'm sure one of the boys went in and it was a prank or like that. Your brain would go there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why they like cleared the house essentially.
But oh my gosh, that's just awful.
Yeah. Terrible. There were search parties all over the area. The unfortunate part was this individual and Elizabeth got enough of a head start to really kind of just barely beat the search parties.
And just barely because they didn't go that far away. I know you'll probably get into that, but I remember just
Mm-hmm.
hearing they didn't go 100 miles away right away either.
Nope. Yeah, they couldn't find her. Like, I mean, they had enough of a head start. What's interesting is Elizabeth was wearing like super bright red pajamas. So the kidnapper, said some weird stuff about it, but basically like, I have to get you away from this. I have to get you out of eyesight so people don't see your beautiful red pajamas, like some weird stuff. But it was like if someone saw them, it wouldn't have looked normal at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was scared that she would stand out. And they were, I mean, in the woods, like
Mm,
random red pajamas in the woods. That would not
mm-mm.
go well for him.
No.
As the sun was starting to come up, Elizabeth started to recognize who her captor was.
Had he taken his mask off by that point? Because I'm sure he kept it on for a little bit.
So yeah, I misspoke. He had like something kind of covering his face, but it wasn't fully covering his face.
Okay.
But it was dark.
Okay.
So she couldn't really see him. Also, they're moving really fast, so she didn't really get a good look at his face until the sun started to come up and then she recognized him. Elizabeth, her mom, and her siblings were out school shopping one day. Her older brother said that there was a guy asking for work so he could get some money. He was clean shaven at the time, a unhoused man, but just looking for money. So the mom gave him $5. He said he really wanted work and he didn't really want to just take cash. So the dad, Elizabeth's dad, Ed, offered him to do some work on the house, which I'm like, it's an interesting thought because, Preston's a contractor.
Right.
And you don't really think about like, oh, I'm letting someone in my home who, that I don't know.
I'm Tina
Also,
Stout's daughter. I always think about it.
oh, well, yeah.
She's so hyper vigilant. Although we did one time have a gang member move in our refrigerator at one of our houses, and my mom, he had lips tattooed on his neck. And she was
No.
like, "Is that your girlfriend?" Like,
You're like,
my
Mom,
mom's a total
stop.
vibe. Yeah.
Tina, we love you.
Hard to be tough around my mom.
Yes. I bet he loved her.
Oh, he did. Totally.
But yeah, so he really wanted to work. He said to her, the moment he saw her when they were shopping, he knew she was the one he was going to take.
Boy, if that doesn't make you look at things different.
Uh-huh. He admitted going to the house a few other times to find the best way in their home to take her. She asked why he was hurting her family when they had offered him work and had paid him, well, attempted to pay him. He actually never went back for his payment. And he said that she would find out in due time, which she never did. That part never comes back up. So don't be waiting for that answer, my friends.
No.
When they got to his campsite, she saw a woman there and thought maybe they took me because they can't have kids. Which, like, I mean, when I had Grace, there are like significant security things in place on what's the floor called? Not the NICU. I mean,
Maternity,
yes, maternity
labor
floor.
and delivery, yeah.
Labor and delivery. There you go. Yeah, there's like, I mean, monitors that you can't like take off the baby. There's a lot. If they
Well,
even get close to the elevator, everything locks down.
did you ever watch that show Private Practice?
No.
They I'm like scarred. I watched it until this one episode. I'm like Grey's Anatomy was the shooting in the hospital done. Couldn't
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
it
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
This one was it was a pregnant she was pregnant and one of her clients attacked her when she was pregnant to take the baby and
Oh gosh.
took her baby and because she had medical training as a psychiatrist like she had to like direct her own C-section to get the baby out safely and she ended up getting her baby back eventually.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, but then I was like, I'm done with this freaking show, man.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
No, I know.
So she said, well, maybe they took me because they can't have children. When they got closer, he yelled out, Ebzibah.
No, nope, there's your problem. Oh my God.
Yeah, so he yells, Ebzibah, and the voice yells back, Emmanuel.
Oh no. Those are not their real names.
Absolutely not.
Oh no. Of
100% not their real names. These were the names that they gave themselves
course.
as they believed that they were overly holy people.
Oh no.
Elizabeth says she talks about how terrifying this woman was. She said she walked up and she was like, it was not a warm
Mm-mm.
human who just wanted a child or like
Mm-mm.
anything like that. And she said she went to hug her and she felt through the hug like your life is in our hands, essentially.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she was not pleased that this man was, intending to take a new partner.
You're not wrong.
I know. I mean, Elizabeth didn't know that, but the woman did.
Yeah. The woman led her inside the tent because there was a tent. She led her inside the tent and started to wash her, started to like wash her feet and just try to wash her as a human, her whole body. She started to try to undress her, and Elizabeth begged her not to. So finally, the woman threw her a robe and said, okay, you can wear this and get undressed under the robe. So she did so. Well, actually, she didn't want to. And she was like, can I please just keep my clothes on? And she said, if you don't take your clothes off now, he will come in and rip them off. So she chose to do that, which, I'm like, I don't know. He's an awful human. Awful human.
They're both terrible. And whenever you have this woman man combo nonsense, the
It's not
woman's
good.
always a special kind of awful too. Like
Yes.
it's just really bad.
Yes. Yes. So she left her alone in the tent after she got herself undressed with and kept the robe on. Emmanuel then entered the tent and told her that she was going to be sealed to him as his wife under God, and that it was time to consummate the marriage.
I hate him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I won't even talk about the details. I'm not even going to
No, we don't need that.
because they're awful, 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 awful. She goes into them in the documentaries, but it's terrible.
Well,
Like,
she's done a lot, I think, to help survivors not feel as much shame because she's just like,
yeah,
I didn't do this thing. I didn't create this. I didn't make this. This is his shame.
yeah,
It's his crap.
yeah. Yes, she's good at. We'll get to that. She's good about
Powerful
doing
though.
that now, but initially that was a really hard spot for her to get to.
Mm.
But yeah, no, the details are terrible. I will not get into them. What I will say is she was a 14-year-old girl
Mm.
who had a very pure heart, who was religious,
Mm.
is religious, and had an idea of how that would go for her. One of the things that she does say that I will share, one detail, is she tells him, "Hey, I haven't started my period yet." Like she was so young, she
Yeah.
hadn't started a period. He stops for a second, yells out to the dumb bee outside of the tent.
Alphaba or whatever. That's insulting to Alphaba. I don't even know
Yeah, no,
what.
I love alphabet. What
Woo.
was it? Hebzibah. Hebzibah.
Alphaba.
I know, awful. So he yells out to the dumb bee outside of the tent
The dumb bee. You're forever the
and
dumb bee.
says she hasn't started her period yet. Is that okay? And she says, yes, that's fine. And then Elizabeth said, if someone can rape, they can kill. And so at that point, she genuinely thought her life was going to end.
Well, and he told her, I mean, he said, I'm not going to
Yeah.
rape and kill you yet.
Yeah. Then he put a cord or like a wire cable around her ankle and then when she came out of the tent, she like saw the setup and she immediately was like, I actually don't think he's going to try to kill me. He's
Mm.
just going to try to keep me. Meanwhile, while this is all happening, okay, we're going to go back to the family. Meanwhile, the family was taken to the police station. And as you and I know, they're going to look at the family first. They're going to see
Of
and
course.
assess if this was an internal thing within the family.
Family and friends first. That's what they're going to
Yep.
look at.
So they made them all separate, which obviously is really intimidating to all of them.
Well, and the crime scene's all goofed up, so they
Yeah,
can't get what they need quickly anyway.
exactly. So, but yeah, they quickly put the family aside and they were like, yeah, they are not part of this. And then the search parties continued to grow. There was over 2,000 people searching for her. I know. The parents felt like they had to stay with their children. So, like, they would kind of do like one parent would stay, one parent would go and do like conferences and stuff like that. It was interesting because they made that a big point, right, for their other kids. Everything had been uprooted and totally chaotic for them. And so they were attempting, and I think this is sweet, attempting to try to create some normalcy for their other kiddos.
Well, they didn't want to just take off, do national media, and have
Exactly.
the kids be with whoever trying to make sense of it. Yeah.
Or going with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It finally caught up with the father a few days after, like about 3 days after, and he ended up having a mental breakdown.
Poor
He
thing.
was committed to the hospital for 3 days. I'm sorry. Yeah, he was committed to the hospital 3 days after Elizabeth went missing, and his dad committed him, which he's still thankful. Like he needed to.
We'll be right back.
If you work with court-ordered clients, you already know the system can be overwhelming. Documentation, coordination, compliance tracking, billing, on top of actually doing the therapy. That's why we want to tell you about Reliatrax, a one-stop platform built specifically for therapists working in the court-ordered space and voluntary treatment. Reliatrax helps you stay connected with probation and referral sources so everyone's on the same page and your clients get the best care possible without the endless emails, calls, and paperwork. And here's the exciting part. Reliatrax now offers Aura, their new AI assistant. Aura helps streamline documentation, keeps you organized, and supports your workflow so you can spend less time clicking boxes and more time doing clinical work. Reliatrax also supports insurance billing, including Medicaid, making it easier to serve both court-ordered and voluntary clients all in one system. No juggling platforms and no workarounds. And the other amazing thing is you have an actual team of people who can support you, not some automated system. If you're looking for a smarter, more efficient way to manage compliance, communication, and care, Reliatrax was built for this. Check out Reliatrax and see how it can support you, your clients, and the systems you work in without burning you out. You can go to www.reliatrax.com to get started. Well, he probably had been strong for his wife, who
Mhm.
lost her father, and then he's trying to again be strong for the family. And there
Not
everybody
sleeping,
has a limit. Oh, not sleeping.
not sleeping.
Everybody
I
has a
mean,
limit.
look at me. I don't sleep for,
I know.
I get some sleep and I'm like a wreck.
Functional-ish.
I can't even imagine getting zero.
No,
I mean, I did get zero the first night I brought Grace home, but I can't imagine getting zero for nights and nights and nights on end.
Well, and I do think that men and women both feel so protective of their kids, but I think what we've seen, and this was true with the Petitos, and they want to go find them. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I can imagine that he just wanted to charge out in some direction and try to
Yeah.
find her,
Yeah. Yeah. What was also happening on the third day was the massive search for her. So what's interesting, so again, I told you 2,000 people. They're searching for her. They're in the woods that she was in. They just didn't go far enough because she could hear them calling her name.
Ugh.
I know. Isn't that wild?
I wonder if Hetzibah, the
Hepzibah.
ugly bee, what are we calling her? Stupid bee?
Dumb bee.
Dumb bee. There we go. They all apply. But she, like, they must have been sweating bullets when they could hear this, though.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah, probably. Yep. So initially, the police thought that the suspect, well, they did have a suspect, and they believed that it was a man named Richard Reese. Richard Reese. He was a contractor, and he and Ed had gotten into like a conflict fight about money and pay. Okay. So they got a warrant to search his house and found stolen jewelry from the Smart's house in this man's home. So already looks like a suspect. Stole some stuff from them, got into a fight, all of that. So he underwent interrogation. When they asked what he knew about the kidnapping, he at first said nothing. And they're like, "You're an idiot. It's all over the news. Don't be stupid."
Yeah.
So he said, "I know exactly. I know what's on the news. I know nothing else." They continued to think he was the perpetrator. He also had a pretty extensive record, and at one point had shot at a police officer in a pharmacy robbery. So things aren't looking great for him. They also found digging tools in his car.
Quacks like a duck. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Hmm. They zeroed
Then,
in on contractor pretty quick. They probably were just going through a list of who had access to the house.
yes, and who had had maybe conflict with any of the family members.
Yep.
And this guy did have conflict because he didn't get, I guess, paid what he maybe thought he needed to get paid or what had been agreed upon. Then someone tries to break into Elizabeth Smart's aunt and uncle's house, cut out the screen to her cousin's room, and tried to kidnap her.
I did not know this.
I did not. I'm going to be super honest right now to save you questions. I did not look further into this, and this did not come back up. So they weren't sure if this was a prank or if this was Emmanuel or if this was a copycat. But that did happen. And I am going to come back to that a little later, but
Okay.
not necessarily this incident. This incident kind of like died in all the things that I read and documentaries. But I didn't specifically Google, did anything follow up with this? But I feel like it would have probably been pretty obvious if it did.
Yeah. If it was him,
Um,
it would have, I'm sure.
oh, 100%.
So it
Yeah.
must not have been him.
Or they just had no evidence to tie it back to him. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But what's interesting, I'm going to just close this loop right now. What's interesting is, so Emmanuel told Elizabeth that he was going to take her sister and her cousin as his wives as well. So that's the weird part. Again, nothing else came of it. So I don't think there was any evidence of him trying to break into their home.
Mm-mm.
Then, so going back to Richard Reese, so he's in jail. Okay. They're holding him because they're like, they were like sure as shit that he did it.
Mm.
So they get a call. Richard Reese had collapsed in jail. got taken to the hospital, and he either had a stroke or an aneurysm, and he died. Mhm.
How do I not remember any of this? I
Well,
kind of remember that they had a suspect. I don't remember that he died.
yep. No, yeah, he died in the hospital, but while he was in jail.
Ooh.
I know. 4 months after Elizabeth was taken, her sister remembered the voice. Okay, so there's what Elizabeth's going through, and then there's what the family's going through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Elizabeth already knows who it is, okay? 4 months later, after Elizabeth was taken, Mary Catherine remembers the voice, remembers who the voice belonged to. Because she kept telling people, oh, sorry, let me back up.
Okay.
She told investigators, it is not Richard Reese. It is not Richard Reese. It is not Richard
Could
Reese.
tell it wasn't his voice.
She could tell it was not his voice. She was like, I know it was not that man in our room for a fact. And no one listened to her. They kept him as a suspect even after she said it wasn't him.
So that guy sounds like a bit of a scumbag. Also, though,
Yes.
if you're his family, you're like,
Yeah.
my God, he died
Yes.
after a medical crisis in jail over a crime he did not commit.
Correct. So he did some time for a crime he did not commit.
Yeah.
So she says, I remember the voice. She was reading, and it's funny because in 2002, I was, I think, in 8th grade. And I remember these were all like, I was obsessed with these growing up, but the Guinness Book of World Records,
Oh, I was obsessed with those too.
obsessed.
Yeah.
So she was reading it, and it like came to her all of a sudden of who this was. hmm hmm And she says it was Emmanuel, the homeless guy in the city. hmm So then they get a sketch artist and they do a sketch because she said that she could vaguely remember his face.
And probably other people knew who this was.
Well, hang tight.
Okay.
They brought this to investigators, but initially they didn't believe it. This man had only been to the house once and didn't even collect his money. So they were like, why would this dude go take Elizabeth? That makes literally no sense.
Hmm.
They were still hung up on Richard Reese, who died. Yep.
What part of we are our sharpest at 2 years old will people not understand? We are downhill after two.
Mm-hmm.
Our brains.
Mm-hmm.
Little people are brilliant.
Brilliant. Well, and she was 9. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
you
they
know,
they make up some nonsense sometimes, but they are also brilliant.
yes. Well, and here's the thing, experience like that, I don't know. Like your brain's gonna tell you what it knows.
Oh yeah.
So they did the sketch anyway. Once they had the sketch, they didn't release it. Okay.
Why?
Oh, I had all these issues.
You got
Well,
a whole bunch of deputy doodads.
so they did not release it because they did not want to spook him. So they kept it internal.
I mean, he probably wouldn't have killed her, but probably the lot. So I could understand why they
Mm-hmm.
might choose not to release it, but I don't know. That'd be a tough call.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So now both sides kind of know who the perpetrator is, right? Mary Catherine has said this is 100% who it is. It is not this other guy. And what's interesting now is, or at the point that we are in the story, Emmanuel just thought he was the shit. Okay. He would never say that in that way, but he thought he was the shit. So he was like, I can bring her into public. I can bring her into public places because her face is going to stay covered.
Called a delusion of grandeur.
That's
That's what it
literally,
is.
that's literally what I wrote.
Yeah. Like me.
Like,
Delusion of grandeur.
yes,
Emmanuel,
exactly.
self-dubbed. God was
Yes.
us. Cool.
So at one point they went to a party. Some man tried to ask questions, and the woman, Ebzibah, said he could not talk to her. So he was like, "This is a weirdo family. I'm walking away." But he's like, he was doing an interview, and he said, "I feel stupid now, not knowing." You know. They're also seen a few times at a restaurant called Super Salad.
And this is like not that far from her parents' house, or where
Correct.
were they?
Yeah, no, they were in like Salt Lake for a lot of this still.
Oh.
They do eventually leave for a little bit,
Did
and
they
I'll get
like try to disguise her? Because I mean, she has this beautiful blonde hair, like she's this
well, yeah, so
she's
she was
pretty.
covered. Her head and so she was the only thing that you could see were like her eyes. Everything
If
else was covered.
I really want to believe that if two knuckleheads were walking around dressed up like crazy people
Hmm.
with a child
Hmm.
covered up like that we would ask questions, but
So at one point, Emmanuel and Ebzeba get into a fight because Emmanuel more often would go into the city and get a bunch of food, and they were kind of left up in the mountains starving. So they got into some big fight as
you
she
mean
was,
he's not a good husband?
right? He's not providing food.
Oh,
Weird.
no more date night.
Weird. Oh my God. I hate people.
Oh,
So he decided to take them into the city. Kind of this one last, not one, they didn't know it was one last hurrah, but kind of was.
okay.
So he took them into the city, um, not to their normal spots. Okay.
Mm,
She was like, maybe this is going to be my chance to be rescued. Right.
mm-hmm.
But she was scared to disobey, as most people would be in this position, because she said, so one of the things she said, if I disobeyed, like in the mountains when, no one's there, she said that she was raped and he would withhold food.
Mm.
So she was like, maybe I'll be saved, but also there's this fear of like, if I do something and I'm not saved, then what does that mean?
One you're still hanging over your head is, I know who he is. He's probably going to kill me at some point and go get another kid.
And go get another kid and kill my family.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they went to the library and another man approached them. This was a homicide detective. And he said, hey, I have questions for you. I need to make sure that this is not the girl that we are looking for, that everyone's been looking for. Can I see her face? Emmanuel said no, that it was against their religion. Hepzibah grabbed Elizabeth's leg, because I think they were probably sitting or they were standing and she just did this,
Mm.
uh, cueing her to not say a thing. After that encounter, Emmanuel rushed them back up to the mountain and he was like, we have to leave Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
I can imagine that homicide detective is horrified.
Mm-hmm.
I
Now,
mean,
yes,
like,
100%.
the older I get, the more in people's crap I'll probably be. And it's not super smart to put yourself in a situation like that, but we just know so much now that it's hard. Like you and I've talked about, we've even been together before when we've been like, that's weird. What's happening? Like, I don't know if
Mhm.
you do this, but I can be in a coffee shop and I'll just start clocking something because I'm just
Yes,
used to kind of
yes.
listening for people. I don't know how to explain it.
No, yeah, 100%. That's interesting you say that. I was in a coffee shop
Hmm.
the other day and in Frisco, and I was with my friends and my friend's husband, who's also a friend of mine. I grew up with their family. Anyway, I won't get
Hmm.
into who it is, but he's a loud guy. He's pretty offensive. And we were in this part of the coffee shop that
You
like
say
was
he's pretty offensive, or your friend or a different guy?
my friend, they're both my friends, but the husband is pretty loud and offensive.
Oh, great.
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool.
I will tell you who they are later and
Yes, I'm gonna need to know.
it'll make sense in your head. I'm
Okay.
not going to say it on air,
No.
um, but
But if
anyway,
he just had coffee with you, he'll know he's loud and offensive.
yeah, they don't even listen. But so we're sitting in this part of the coffee shop that was technically closed because it's like it's a record store attached to the coffee shop. But because we know the owner,
Yeah,
they were like, hey, you guys can just go sit back there and hang out. But like no one else was allowed back there. And
yeah.
this like young kid, not young, but probably 20s,
Mm-hmm.
came and was trying to get in and my friend was like, "Hey, dude, you can't come in here. It's closed." And he was like, "It says it's open." And the guy was like, "It's not open."
Yeah.
Anyway, but I was like tracking with it because I was like, "There's about to be a conflict. There's about to be a
Oh,
conflict." I
100%.
mean, like you just kind of zone into
Yes.
if there's something happening, right?
Or sketchy crap, or if somebody's having a
Yes.
psychotic break at a bus stop,
Yes.
or
Oh
like I
my
don't
gosh.
miss those things very
Yeah,
often.
no, same. Yep. Or if someone's getting agitated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Emmanuel says we gotta go. Okay. About 8 months later, the sketch was finally released. The family went to the police and they were like, "We have to release this sketch." And the police were like, "No." And they're like, "We're doing it. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's been too long." So of course that fires up interest. Meanwhile, Emmanuel, Ibzaba, and Elizabeth are heading to San Diego.
Oh man.
hmm hmm They get this call, police get this call from a man who said that they may know who Emmanuel is. He goes, "There's a chance it's my brother-in-law and his wife and his sister." Yes. hmm
Hmm.
His brother-in-law said that he would be surprised if he did this, but that he was crazy enough to do it.
Then you're not surprised.
Right. Like he was
You
like,
don't
I would
call
be a
the
little
police like, that'd be wild if he did it, but also check him out. You know what I mean?
no.
Like,
Well, but I think he was think of it though, like I mean, even if I have another friend whose family members experienced, being unhoused or homelessness. And like you never want to think that you know someone capable of that. And so I think that's probably where he was coming from. But he was like, he literally said, "I would be surprised if he did it, but also like that,
crazy as hell.
yeah, like he's not in the picture,
100%.
the sketch."
I appreciate him calling. It's kind of
I
like
know.
Wade Wilson's dad. Like we need people,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm hoping for the Guthries too. We need somebody to come forward and say, I know something,
We
or I
know
could know
something.
something. I
Yeah.
could.
Yes. And
Yeah.
he said he knew that Emmanuel or his brother-in-law had a teepee in the mountains, but never told any of the family where it was. So his teepee, his campsite that he had,
Mhm.
right? He said that if he had something to do with it, there's a chance that she's still alive, which I mean, like, would probably light everybody up, you know?
Why
So
would he say that?
because I think because the guy knew that his brother-in-law,
Might take a child bride.
no, I think he knew how his brain was kind of not operating, but he knew how he thought. And so he was like, his goal wouldn't be to kill. His goal would be to take on more wives,
Hmm.
right? So he was like, I don't think she's dead because he's not someone who would kill someone. He's someone who would take someone to keep them for himself.
Okay. But we'd
So,
be surprised.
so they got a picture from
Yes.
the family of Emmanuel and also got a picture of the wife.
Okay.
Emmanuel's real name is Brian David Mitchell, and they found out that he had been arrested for stealing beer from an Albertsons, and they took a Polaroid picture of him during that arrest. This arrest happened to be when he had Elizabeth. So they had an updated picture of what he looked like because he was not clean shaven like everyone had remembered him as. And what's even crazier, not crazier, but kind of, is so he got arrested for trying to steal beer. He had been stealing beer from Albertsons. There's one story that Elizabeth talks about where he took her to the river and made her get super drunk off of beer. She threw up everywhere and then he left her there in her throw up. So that was the beer he was stealing from Albertsons. And then one time he got caught and they arrested him, but then let him go.
Oh my, the near misses are killing me.
Isn't that insane? It's like a movie. I mean,
Well, it's so frustrating because it's like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you can't control when the kiddo remembered the voice, or you know what I mean? Like that,
Mhm.
she's so precious. She just gave them everything she could to try to be
Yep.
helpful when she could. But
Yep.
uh, this stuff drives me nuts because it could
I
have
know.
been that she could have had intervention a couple different points.
Yeah. The woman's name is Wanda Barzy, and they had traveled on foot around the U.S. preaching, air quotes, y'all, preaching the gospel. He believed that he was a prophet of God. Go fucking figure.
Oh, they're just really a special kind of crazy and evil.
Yeah, no, it's awful. He was spinning into a violent state of mind who was super dangerous. His ex-wife called in once they like found out who this was. His ex-wife called in and shared many stories, but one of her stories was that she was like deathly scared of mice. So he went and killed a bunch of mice and put them in the oven. And then when she opened the oven, there was a bunch of dead mice everywhere. Like he's a special kind of crazy.
And evil.
Yes, absolutely. There was also, go figure, allegations of abusing children.
Of course.
I do believe he had some kiddos of his own from previous marriages.
Are you going to get into his pathology?
We can talk about it.
Hmm.
So, Brian was born in 1953 and was the third of six children in a family that belonged to the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints.
Hmm.
His mother was a teacher and his father was a social worker, which I find very interesting. But father was weird and very abusive. In order to teach Michael about sex, his father would show him explicit photos from medical journals. And then also, in order to teach him independence, he would drive him to unfamiliar parts of the city, drop him off, and leave him there for him to find his way home.
From the handbook of turning your children into serial killers,
Literally,
sex ed edition.
literally.
What? What
Uh-huh.
is well, and I was thinking child porn. That's where my brain went,
Yeah. I mean,
but medical journals, that's weird
yeah,
too.
it's weird. At the age of 16, Brian was caught exposing himself to a child and
There it is.
and was sent to juvie.
I'm gonna
At
scratch
19,
my
he
back with a
married.
chopstick. Hang on.
No, you're hilarious.
I'm getting upset. Okay, we're better.
At age 19, he married a 16-year-old, Karen, with whom he had two children with. After their divorce, his ex-wife was awarded custody. Go figure.
Worse. How long were they together?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
So after she got custody, he fled the state with them to New Hampshire. He stayed there for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, he stayed there for 2 years, joining I don't know how to say this, Hare Krishna commune.
How did he hide for that long with his kids?
I don't know if his kids stayed there for the 2 years, but he did.
Hmm. But he
He
would
had
have
a,
been arrested for that. You can't take your kids like that.
that's true. I don't know.
So, what the hell are they doing? Hmm.
He
So
had
he
a
had
history.
kids at some point.
Yeah,
Did he have a daughter?
it doesn't say.
Okay.
He had a history of drugs and alcohol abuse in his adult life. When he returned to Salt Lake City, he was inspired to seek sobriety by his brother, who had recently returned from an LSD, oh my God, LDS church mission.
A little bit of both. Drop a
Yeah,
little acid, go to church.
probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
In Salt Lake City, he had two additional children with his second wife, Debbie, who herself had three children from a previous marriage. Debbie alleged that Michael was abusive during their marriage, allegedly,
Of course he
and
was.
divorced in 1984. after their separation, Debbie alleged that Brian had sexually abused their 3-year-old son. So there's that.
Anything about this asshole is believable,
I know.
in my humble opinion.
That could not be claimed as there was no medical evidence or confirmation.
Mm.
So he has quite the history as well. And then I had some stuff on the other chick, but not as much.
Wanda.
Wanda. So on the day of his divorce with Debbie, I'm sorry, the day that his divorce was finalized with Debbie, Brian married Wanda.
Where'd he find her, pray tell? Under a
I
bridge
don't
somewhere?
know. Well, what's interesting is there's pictures of them early in their marriage and they don't look unhoused. They look very like kind of well kept. I mean, they
Well,
are weird.
listen, they're not crazy because they're unhoused. They're crazy because they're crazy.
No, I know, but she wasn't living under, you said under a bridge. I said,
Well, I'm just thinking, like, where does one find a wife in a day? You
oh
know?
yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm sure they were already together. He was probably seeing her before that. And then their life is what we're talking about now. Kind of a wild life. So they're the ones who traveled on foot to go preach the gospel and started living in a tent in the woods. So there's that.
As every successful preacher does.
Oh my gosh.
I just can't. I can't with oh.
So yeah, then he began. So he didn't always go by Emmanuel. He eventually became Emmanuel David Isaiah, claiming to be a prophet of God who experienced visions. I'm sure you did. The name related to his belief that he was the Davidic servant spoken of I don't know what that is, some book in the Mormon religion.
Okay.
So that's how he became who he is now.
Were his parents like fundamentalists or were they more in the mainstream?
It didn't say, it just said the LDS church.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure. Based on, again, this is just like me trying to put pieces together. But the fact that the brother-in-law called and was like, hey,
Yeah.
this is who you're probably dealing with. My guess is the family was not as fundamentalist as what's his bucket wanted to be.
Yeah. Like they frown upon child brides, stolen child
Oh my
brides.
God, right?
That kind of
Hopefully.
progressive.
Hopefully.
Oh.
So when Emmanuel took them, actually, I'm going to interchange Emmanuel and Brian a little bit here, but I'm going to try to stick with just Emmanuel, but just
Okay.
a heads up. So when Emmanuel took them out of Salt Lake, they went to, as I said earlier, San Diego and stayed at a camp there for a while. Elizabeth said, after a while, being raped was terrible, but listening to him was worse because of how he would just talk about himself. It's very grandiose, narcissistic, all of it.
Mm.
Then he started talking about places that they could go because he was like, we can't stay here. So he was actually talking about going to places like New York and areas over there. And she was like, oh my gosh, he's going to take me even further away.
Mm.
So she had many moments of brilliance to keep herself safe, but this one, pretty spot on. She chimes in and she's into the conversation because he's talking to Ebzeba about this. He's saying, we have to go,
Right.
further. We're going to go up where either New York or Delaware or Pennsylvania or whatever. And she's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And Elizabeth is like, oh no. So she says, I have this feeling.
Mm.
I think we might be I'm quoting her. I think we might be supposed to return to Salt Lake. I
Mm.
know God would not really speak to me, but if you were to ask him, he would confirm to you whether or not that was the right path because you truly are his servant and his prophet.
Well played, Elizabeth.
Girl.
You know?
He then said, what an asshole. He then said, God is finally starting to work within you.
Oh no.
Oh, it gets worse. Now that you recognize your own nothingness, we are supposed to return to Salt Lake. She's like, cool, my nothingness is potentially gonna free my ass from you.
Listen, the number of times that we have weaponized narcissism to meet whatever goal we're trying to meet, whether it's in therapy or something else, you can absolutely use
You
something like
can.
this.
You can.
You can.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So they get back to Salt Lake. Actually, they went to a town that was just south of Salt Lake. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was just a little south. So that's where they got off the bus. Okay. And dispatch gets a call
Hmm.
about a sighting of 3 individuals that don't look normal, right?
Right.
2 of them have their faces covered, and his picture's everywhere.
Mm.
The thing was, so at this point, a cop is sharing, they had gotten so many calls with sightings through these 9 months that they were like, I mean, we'll check it out, but it's probably not true.
Well, and
Which,
it's
like,
probably really hard to allocate resources to that,
right,
you know?
exactly. But it probably took a little bit longer than it would have at the beginning of the search,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, they get the call though, and they go.
Mm.
A police car shows up, and then many more show up. Okay. They separate them as they should. So the detective takes Elizabeth and he starts telling her, hey, we are looking for this girl and her family is still looking for her. Because they want to instill, like, hey, there's hope. Like, no
Yeah.
one's given up on you. And so he's telling her this. He's saying, they're still looking for her. They were trying to figure out where she went, all this stuff. And so he's trying to say this because he's like, I'm trying to figure out if this is Elizabeth or not because she hasn't taken off her thing. So the detective says, just for the sake of this nation and your family, tell me that you are Elizabeth. And she says, thou say it.
Mm.
Thou say it. Gives me goosebumps.
Mm.
He took that as a yes and put her in the back of the police car where she was safe, and she just started crying.
Oh, sweet girl.
I know. Oh, makes me tear up.
Mm.
Kills me. I can't even, I can't even imagine what her family was feeling.
Mm. How long was it again? How long?
9 months.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Hmm. So she reunites with her family, right? Her dad's the first one to go in, and people are like, he's walking up to the station, and people are like, "Oh my gosh," and this detective is like, "I think we have her. I think this is Elizabeth." And the dad talks about when he walked into the room that she was in, he was like, "I no longer was walking into a room with a little girl. I was walking into a room with a little woman because of what she had experienced, like the trauma that she had gone through." And she, poor thing, he walks in, he goes, Elizabeth, is that you? And she says, yes, it's me. And she was like, I thought I was going to be in trouble.
Oh.
I know, because of what had happened,
Like,
right?
can
And
you
like,
imagine being that dad? Like, ugh, like you
no
think
one.
it's your kid, but you're not 100%. Oh my God. I just can't imagine what that must have felt like.
Hmm. Hmm. So then the detectives did end up going to where the campsite was held, and they felt sick to their stomachs because he said, we could have found her sooner. We could have found her sooner. Especially if they would have put the sketch out sooner, they would have found her. That's the hard part, is they were like, you don't know what you don't know. They didn't want to freak him out, but also, so when Brian David Mitchell was questioned about how Elizabeth ended up with him, God, he's such an idiot.
Hmm.
He said, I never lied about anything. By the power of God, she was delivered to us.
Through the screen of her kitchen window.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I think it was more about when he saw her walking with her family.
Oh,
That was his quote unquote sign. I don't know.
equally weird.
Yeah. He would then say that he was a servant of the Lord and did what the Lord commanded him to do, which is why he took her. What a psycho. Then my God, I was laughing at this part. The detective was like trying to talk to him and he kept like yelling, "Get thee behind me, Satan. Get thee behind me, Satan." Like yelling at the detective. And the detective was like, "I am not Satan. Like, shut up."
Be like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Only one of us raped a child. Like scoreboard.
Yeah. The crappy part was the detectives did not think he was mentally ill at all. They were just like, he is a narcissistic, manipulative,
Mhm.
coercive asshole. But the judge kept putting the case off due to mental illness. Though that was really frustrating, the family actually saw some of that as silver lining so that Elizabeth could have some healing in her journey before the
I
case ended
could
up
see that
happening,
actually just having a little bit of time.
having a little bit of space. Well, she ended up testifying in the case and
Which is
sharing what he did.
unbelievable.
I know.
Unbelievable.
No, she's a brave, brave woman.
Mm.
So she did talk about the impact that I took note of was, when she got back, she said, she had a fear of men for quite some time.
Oh, I'm sure.
She also felt like no one really wanted to talk about her being raped and abused. That was not a common part of the conversation, which actually I think everyone felt like, let's not bring this up to make her feel worse or
Yeah.
to make her remember, but it actually made her feel more shame and embarrassment
Yeah.
about what had happened because it was not being talked about.
Well, it's kind of like suicide. One of the first things they teach you is when you have a suicidal client talk about it,
Hmm.
you don't you don't avoid it.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of
You just
go
have to,
right in on the thing.
yeah.
Mm.
She also questioned herself for a long time of like, why didn't she run sooner? Could she have done things differently? There was a lot of regret that haunted her for quite some time. She said her mom would try to help her process through it and did a good job, but then at a certain point wanted to move past it and like just try to put it in the past. The case went on for years, right? Like
Mhm.
just got kept getting pushed. She
Yeah.
said it felt like the system was rigged against her. Again, as I said before, she finally did give her testimony, which was
Mhm.
amazing. She said she was scared to do it, but she knew that if he got off or got out, he would do it again to another girl.
Absolutely.
He was found guilty for kidnapping and transporting a minor across state lines for sexual activity,
Mm.
so trafficking.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This was confusing, and I actually looked more into this. But Wanda also pled guilty to kidnapping and transporting a minor across state lines for sexual activity, but she was only sentenced for 15 years, and she was released in 2018.
That's weird to me.
Obviously, the difference is that he raped her,
Yes. That's
but
weird to me.
that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, um, she continues to get questions like, he took you to a party. Couldn't you have escaped then? You encountered police officers. Why didn't you say anything? Did you sympathize with your captor? Why did you not try to save yourself earlier?
Mm-hmm.
And her response to all that was, I made my rescue possible.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She did.
So, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Well, I've always thought she's an incredible human being. And I think what she's done I mean, I've referenced her with trauma work at
Mm-hmm.
times, with clients who are feeling shame or experiencing that kind of stuff. But um, she's an incredible testament to what people can come back from, like
Mm-hmm.
how resilient people can be.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was an unspeakable. process, though.
Mhm.
I do have so much curiosity about what she did for her trauma therapy, and I don't know if you can.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sure she's done. Uh, well, I know she's done public speaking. Like we could
Yeah.
probably find it. Wasn't there a book? She wrote a book too, I think. I feel like she may have. I think she may have written a
I
book,
feel like she probably has. She's done a lot of
but
things.
I would be really curious to know
So
what
she's,
really helped her.
yeah.
Besides, I know her faith is a huge part of her life and all that, but
Mhm.
I just wonder clinically as a therapist, I wonder if it was EMDR or was it somatic work or what really
Yeah.
helped her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's 38 now. She's married with children and devotes her time to advocating for survivors of abduction, abuse, and sexual violence.
Mm, she's amazing.
She's an advocate.
Mm,
I know.
I love her.
I know. Yeah, so the big things when it comes to the psychology of all this, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and diagnose the perpetrators, but at the end of the day, delusional thinking, narcissism, psychopathy. I don't know if he would be on the psychopathy continuum or not.
What's interesting to me is I'm thinking about the delusions of grandeur, and
Yes,
it's more on the narcissism scale, but
yes.
there can be some overlap with schizophrenia, but
Mm,
also though impulsive.
mm-hmm.
The impulsivity kind of tracks with psychopathy. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not sure. I'm not looking at his stuff. It's all allegedly.
No.
Like I
Yeah.
haven't seen a diagnosis on him anywhere.
No,
I've
I couldn't
checked that
find
out
one
a little.
either. Yeah.
But I think they were right to prosecute him as it was premeditated. He was
Yes.
fully aware of what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was not mid psychotic break. Like
No.
it's too long of a period of time.
This was how he functioned as a
Yeah.
human. Hmm. And
And
how he
I
saw
think it's a
himself.
convenient theology,
Yeah.
also in the
Yeah.
sense that he wanted to hurt a young girl.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So, do
sure.
you know what I mean? So,
For
like, as
sure.
far as I'm concerned, it's like, okay, well, this is a sex offender who decided he had a belief system that supported what he was doing,
Hmm.
and some narcissism, sprinkled on there too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But,
What do
yeah,
you think about Wanda?
um, I think Wanda's the worst kind of woman. I think that
Yeah.
I mean, she probably was abused also. Okay, there's that. But I mean, most women would take a bullet for a child without even thinking about it. Somebody else's
Absolutely.
child. And
Absolutely.
I, it breaks my heart when I think about Elizabeth, seeing her and thinking, we tend to feel more safe in
The
spaces with
woman.
women,
Hmm.
right? Because women just are not typically quite as violent and whatever as men. But when they team up with a woman, and there's a few cases like this, where
Hmm.
the man has this need and the woman ends up facilitating whatever this process is, it's
Hmm.
just so sick and twisty. And in my humble opinion, she's equally culpable. And
Hmm.
okay, so they had a fight about him not taking her to dinner, and like stuff like that. I'm not hearing she was also chained to the fence post. Like, I mean, it's
Right.
like this, like,
Right.
do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
She was complicit. And you said, is she out? Did you say she's out?
Yeah, no, yeah, she got out in 2018.
That is someone who should have an ankle monitor for freaking ever,
Ever. She should be in, yeah, she should be in prison.
you know, she wasn't the instigator, but she was very much complicit in
Hmm.
everything that happened.
Hmm.
Also, like when we think about, okay, what's her bucket from our episode last week? Billy and Billie Jean's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
murders. That chick was in trouble for sending text messages that inspired a murder. How is
I
she
know.
out when
I
she
know.
facilitated the rape and trafficking of a child?
Hmm.
Just makes no sense.
I know. I know. Yeah, it was a wild case. It was funny. Preston was asking me, like, what case are you doing? And I was like, Elizabeth Smart. And he doesn't know. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, okay, what happened? He was like, was she killed? And I was like, no, she actually survived.
I've
Um,
become a fan of the pod. That makes me
I
so
know,
happy.
I know. So, yeah, we don't do a lot of survival. stories because unfortunately there's not always a ton of them, but
Mm-mm.
nor do we do a lot of kid stories because they're
Mm-mm.
horrendous. They're all horrendous, but when it's just kids, there's just an
Mm.
extra level of pain. But
This chick's just built different.
she
Elizabeth Smart is
she
built different.
yes, yes. So ending on a positive note, she is phenomenal, and we are so thankful she's with us and doing the Lord's work.
Yes, and just the redemptive nature of what she's doing after what she been through.
Hmm.
None of it makes it worth it, I'm quite sure. But I think it's cool when people can take something that's happened to them and turn it into a mission or a purpose. And
Yeah.
she has certainly done that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, thanks for listening.
Oh, thanks for bringing us that case, Nat. That's a big case. I liked how you took us through like this parallel process of what was happening with her
Hmm.
family and there. I've never thought about it that way.
Hmm. I know.
That
Well,
for
it was
9 months they
interesting.
were all existing just on these different planes, and
Yeah.
honestly, not that far apart for most of it.
No, like it's wild with,
Mm.
like you said, during like the amount of misses, like just barely missed it is
Mm.
painful. And that was what I was like, the family had their process over here and law enforcement. And then there was all this going on over here with Brian and
Mm.
Ebzeba, stupid
Mm.
bee, and, you know,
Mm.
our lovely Elizabeth.
I think so much too about how we luck out sometimes in some of the pathology that they
Hmm.
will take these risks. Or I was reading the other day that psychopaths experience 4 times the dopamine from something pleasurable. That's why they're so goal driven,
Oh gosh.
seeking pleasure. And I was thinking about some of our cases, and it's the thing that trips them up sometimes is that
Hmm.
like
Yes.
singular focus
Yes.
paired with the impulsivity. And that's handy. Like his delusions of
Hmm.
grandeur are handy
Hmm.
because he took her out in public. He really
Yep.
thought he could survive this even after
Yep.
people spotted him.
So one of the things I wrote, I didn't say it because you had mentioned the thoughts of grandeur, but
Mm.
he said he thought that he knew exactly what he was doing because of thoughts of grandeur and thought he was just going to totally get away with it, even bringing her in public. And she even said, if you get caught, you're going to go to prison forever. And he was like, I'm not going to get caught.
The other thing is, uh, I was going to make a terrible comment about our prison system and what's probably happening to him, but they do not like these
Mhm.
kind of folks in prison, and he's going to die in prison.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead
So I
yet.
wonder what he thinks now.
Mhm.
Well, I'm just thinking the same God that delivered you a 14-year-old girl can't get you out of prison.
Right?
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that
Well,
note,
uh-huh. Uh-huh. In the spirit of motivational interviewing integration with faulty psychopathic theology. You know what I mean? Like,
uh-huh.
hmm,
Hmm.
hmm. I wish that didn't happen as often as it does, but we are.
Here we
Here
are.
we are. Well, thanks so much, Nat. We'll see y'all next week, as always.
Bye, forensic friends.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.